But the thought of being attracted to the nature of a child is not a crime in of itself. And treating it like that is not only wrong, but, again, borderline fascist.
Some people need to be gone, bro. You know what I'm talking about? In order for shit to get better. And he one of them.
So in my YouTube career journey, whatever you guys want to call it, I believe I've seen it all. You know, we've talked about pretty much everything you could imagine. I think I've talked about everything and I've seen everything. That was until today. And big thanks to Peep is Awesome for making me aware of the situation. There's this YouTuber that goes by Sam Candles. They're a transgender individual. They identify as a girl. I don't care what you like or what you do. I've always said this. This is not me going woke. Even though people pretend that I'm going woke and all of this other crazy shit. If you look back to my content from 34 years ago, I've always had the same mentality. Just be nice. Don't be a douche. Be respectful, and I will be respectful towards you. I don't care what color you are, and I don't care what you identify as. I'm a grown man. I do not care what people do in their private life. And my whole belief is, as long as you're happy and you're not hurting anyone, fuck what other people say or think about you. Just do you. Live your best life. We only get one shot at this. Our time on earth is so limited. Why waste it? But the thing with this content creator that goes by Sam Candles, they make gaming content, if you will. Everything's fine. They talk about Sonic. That's fine. More Sonic. Kirby, I think. More Sonic. They really like Sonic. They might be autistic. They made a commentary video called The Remake Problem. That's fine. And then you look at their newest video, which is such a crazy jump from video essays to lolicon, censorship, and ethics and art. I'm going to spoil the video here. Yeah, this person is defending Lolly. We have another chibi cuck reviews in the building, except this person's trans and the other one's just a weird white cuck. So if you've seen my videos where I call out chibi reviews for being a fucking degenerate fucking loser, you know that I don't like lolly. I think anyone that consumes lolly should be investigated. I personally think it's extremely weird. I don't see the appeal of it. I think if you enjoy lolly, please unsubscribe from my channel. I don't want you here. At this stage of my YouTube career, I could say and do whatever the fuck I want. And if I say I don't want lolicons subscribed to my channel, well, yeah, I don't. I've made all the money that I wanted to. I could finally be like, I don't want these kind of people in my community. I think they're freaks. I think they're weird. They gotta go.
Some people need to be gone, bro. You know what I'm talking about? In order for shit to get better.
We're gonna watch the video, but for context, someone in the Discord server says, so you think jacking it to a child is fine? And the person that goes by Sam Candle says, if they're not real, yes.
Some people need to be gone, bro.
Someone says, I don't know, but lolly is subjectively bad and should be banned. And Candle's response with, so you agree with censorship. That was the context, so you understand what kind of person we're dealing with here. Trust me, I'm no stranger to having hot takes, controversial takes. This is not even a hot take. This is just a you're wrong kind of take. Let's just get right into this.
What art should be allowed to exist? This is a question I've been asking myself since I was young, and now that I have my own answer to it, it's a question that has naturally come up a lot when I discuss art with others. When does a creative work cross the line into the wrong, the immoral, the societally unacceptable? While there are plenty of ways someone could answer this question, my personal stance is one that will definitely seem radical to many. I simply believe there shouldn't be an arbitrary line. As someone who is very passionate about art and human freedoms, I feel it should be painfully obvious that systematic censorship based on vibes is a bad thing.
You do know that people have the right to fight back on your statement, to respond to your statement, and to draw stuff that you might not like. Let's just make an example up that I don't support. But what if someone drew this person, you know, they're trans, and, you know, they make the most anti-trans fucking artwork you could imagine. Is that considered art? Should Twitter or Instagram or whoever it might be take it down? That's what happens when you make these kind of arguments. You're like, well, everything should go. So in theory, that should be fine. And she should never be able to complain or take it down. Because anything goes, right? It's art. I'm arguing with someone that believes CP, digital CP, should be okay. My thing is why? Why do you feel the need to jerk off to digital animated CP? Out of everything that you could goon to, I guess, or enjoy, why do you need to go after digital little kid? Don't you think there's something very wrong with you if you get to that point where you're jerking it to little animated kids? Don't you think that's too far? Don't you think you clearly have a fucking mental health issue, you fucking schizo?
In my opinion, the only art that can be inherently immoral is art created through or with the intent of hurting another human being.
Okay, so that's where you draw the line, because it could affect you, right?
But when you have this stance, it does ultimately end up leading to the defense of things a lot of people have very strong feelings about. Sometimes it can be something most people can agree upon, like the fact violent video games should be allowed to exist. Or it can be things that are a lot more contentious, like art depicting immoral sexual acts. I've seen it firsthand that a lot of people agree with me in regards to being anti-censorship and for freedom in art until they realize how broad that scope really is. Lolicon is, bluntly put, a genre of artwork and fiction involving young, sometimes even prepubescent girls, particularly in suggestive or outright sexual scenarios.
This is what I would assume is pretty tamed compared to the shit that Gooner freaks like Chibi Reviews and now Sam Candles get into and what they enjoy. Oh yeah, guys, you know, sometimes it's a little sexual, it's a little, you know, explicit, it's nothing too crazy. It's like a grown-ass man having sex with a little kid. It's like, yeah, but that's only sometimes, guys. Trust. It's just like, I know the freaks like Chibi Reviews, Cuck Reviews. He loves incest and he loves lolicon.
In some contexts, the word can also be used to refer to someone who seeks out and enjoys these sort of works. And most importantly for the context of this video, it is possibly the singular most controversial type of art you can defend the existence of, especially in the context of the modern day internet. Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking. Probably something along the lines of course it should be controversial. It's sexualized minors. And, of course, considering how children cannot consent and the taboos of our culture, it does make sense how many, even most people, would come to this sort of conclusion. And obviously, I also don't blame anyone for being grossed out by the concept itself. But is it inherently immoral? Should it be censored? Should it be illegal? I don't think so.
All right, you gotta go. Where do I even fucking start? Should lolicon be illegal? Yeah. If you think I'm wrong, I literally do not care.
Go fuck yourself. Seriously. Leave me, leave the king the fuck alone. I don't care, bro.
That says more about you than it says about me. But since you are pro-censorship then, yeah. I am pro-censorship when it comes to weird shit like CP, lolicon, digital CP, whatever the fuck, animated CP, whatever the fuck people want to call it. If that makes me a fascist, if that makes me a pro-censorship individual, then yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's a hot take that I don't agree with this fucking weirdo. This person has the same Chibi Reviews arguments, but it's censorship, and we cannot have censorship. Dude, she's like a 40,000-year-old dragon. She just looks like she's 2. You know what I mean? So what's wrong with that? And the world would be better off without him. I don't care if that's a hot take. Or people are like, yo, that's too far. I don't care. Why do you feel the need to defend this and enjoy this kind of content? You are so mentally fucked and fried if you see nothing wrong with jerking it to ollie shit. It's like you are legitimately fucked mentally and you need to go to therapy. I'm not even trying to be funny here. You are sick. You have a lot of issues if you see nothing wrong with lolicon. But since she's 90,000 years old, trust, she just looks like a 4-year-old. If that's your thought process, unsubscribe and never come back. I don't want you here. You're fucking weird. I found this comment and I would like to read it with you guys. Victim of CSAM here, who also happens to be LGBT and anti-fascism. Even if it's fictional, it's still featuring a child. Even if it's not directly hurting a child, it normalizes sexual acts upon children and enforces the idea that a child can desire sex. A person who is isolated can and would get influenced by consuming this sort of media. Children who are victims like I was will see these and maybe think that what happened to them was normal. Fiction doesn't need to directly hurt someone or a community. It plants a seed in a person's mind. I think that person cooked. I think that is the best way to put it. I think that is the best way to put this whole lolicon versus censorship argument.
A lot of people's impressions of certain cultures can be informed by art, like the super harmful, gross stereotypes and Orientalism contained in Disney's Aladdin, or the military propaganda machine that is Call of Duty.
I'm sorry, but if you get If you joined the military because of Call of Duty, I mean, dude, I don't know what to tell you at that point. Holy, especially the new Call of Duty. I don't think Call of Duty is a propaganda machine.
I have some really big problems with this particular line of reasoning. First of all, where do we even draw that line? Who decides what's just porn and what's important art? You could point at how it's marketed, or patterns in the things the artist chooses to make, but at the end of the day, it is all still art. If even one person finds value in a lolly doujin beyond just getting off to it, how can you say it is just worthless art that deserves to be erased?
Well, me. This person is trying so hard to, get us or to sound smart. It's like the argument should take approximately 35 seconds. I mean, the video is called Lolicon, Censorship, and Ethics in Art. This is the conversation that takes 10 seconds tops. Hey, what do you think about animated children having sex? Oh, I think that's weird, and anyone that enjoys it should die. Done. That took, what, 9 seconds? 10 seconds? Pretty easy. Is it okay to goon to little kids, animated little kids? Let's have a debate about that. How about we don't? It's something that shouldn't even be a fucking debate. It's weird, all right? If you watch that and you enjoy it, you are weird, you're mentally ill, you gotta go and seek help. Why do you think no one respectable is going online and defending lolly?
Many famous paintings and statues from the 1500s or earlier could be argued to be pornographic to some degree, but are we really going to claim the Venus of Urbino isn't art?
Well, that's different, little bro. That's different. It's in the 1400s, 1500s, whenever the fuck that thing said it was. I don't think paintings like these had ill intent. Were they gooners in the 1400s? Probably. Don't think that was the purpose of this painting. Unlike OF and, other sexual content, where the intent is indeed different.
Example is the book Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov, which happens to be where the lolly in Lolicon comes from. Lolita is about, in short, an adult man who obsesses sexually over a 12-year-old girl. This book contains all the things that someone against the idea of Lolicon would want to disallow. And yet, it's widely considered one of the most impactful, important books ever written. It be burned, censored, unavailable to the public just because of its contents?
Side note, but I fucking hate these expressions.
Should people who like the book for the wrong reasons be institutionalized?
Now, I've never read the book and I don't care for it. And correct me if I'm wrong, maybe there's people that read it, and correct me if I'm wrong, Lolita is a book about this older guy that's in love with this 12-year-old. So that's one thing. And it's another thing to draw said animated 12-year-old, and that is being generous, by the way. Some people legitimately goon to characters that look like, I don't know, they're 3 or 4 years old. 12 is way too old for these kind of individuals, so that's being pretty generous. Second of all, what is the intent? One thing was written, and you gotta ask, what is the intent? Is it to tell a story? An extremely weird and controversial story, don't get it twisted. What is the purpose of set creation? Unlike Lolly, where the whole purpose of it is to have older people essentially fuck little kids, or people that look like little kids, even though they're a 30,000-year-old dragon, right? So yeah, the intent here and the context and the reason why said thing was created is very important here.
Trying to follow this logic to its conclusion is, well, it's just fascism. But if the sort of censorship...
What? Hold up, I gotta run that back. Cut tripping. What?
Trying to follow this logic to its conclusion is, well, it's just fascism. But if the...
So I guess I'm a fascist.
A lot of the perceived immorality of Lolicon is that it's supposedly putting children at risk by existing. That just by being available, it's going to hurt kids. This claim is, at the very least, unsubstantiated. And, if I'm being honest, blatantly false. Obviously, someone who's already a pedophile would be interested in fictional works that align, in one way or another, with their interests. And so it begs the question, is this inherently wrong? To answer this, I think we need to talk about what pedophilia actually is.
We don't need a 5-minute explanation on what a pedophile is.
Let me be very clear before I elaborate. Having a child or using a child to create material of a sexual nature is fucking disgusting, abhorrent, and has no place in any sort of civilized world. We can all agree upon this.
Thank God this person said this. Because I mean, I was starting to wonder, but I'm glad they addressed the obvious. Thank you for doing the bare fucking minimum when it comes to being a human being.
I also don't think anyone should be under any obligation to be comfortable being around a self-professed pedophile, and obviously I especially don't think they should be welcome in spaces that have kids. But regardless, in the language of the cultural zeitgeist, the word pedophile has been turned into something inherently sinister in nature.
And it's supposed to. This is definitely one of the videos of all time.
The word pedophile has been turned into something inherently sinister in nature. Of course, it does make sense on a simple emotional level. If someone has any sort of sexual interest in kids, they're a horrible monster, is the average thought process. But what's really important, especially if you wish to have empathy for people that are different, is to separate the thought from the action. The fundamental problem that makes pornographic material produced of actual children disgusting, ontologically evil, and immoral is not actually the visual of a sexualized child, but the act that resulted in its creation, the abuse of a child itself. A pedophile's thoughts are not the heinous act in of themselves. It's the actual harm done to children that's the problem. But the thought of being attracted to the nature of a child is not a crime in of itself. And treating it like that is not only wrong, but, again, borderline fascist.
I quit. I'm done. This cannot be real life. This person could vote. By the way, I'm not even going to edit this. This is someone that lives with us that thinks like this. How do you get this bad? How do you get to this point in your life where you made this video and you see nothing wrong with it? Thank you for doing the bare minimum when it comes to saying that having sex with children is bad. Thank you, I guess. I get having controversial takes. I get having hot takes that not everyone agrees with. I've had them myself recently, and I don't care if people agree or not. I stand behind them. If people like them, that's great, and if they don't, well, too bad. There's like a million other channels you could go to. But the video that this person made is not even a hot take, nor is it a controversial take. It's just a creepy, horrible fucking take. Do you know how much porn you need to consume to get to this level where you're defending this shit? This is chibi reviews bad. You both gotta go. Holy. I think all pedophiles should be on sight. I think anyone that harms children should also be punished on sight. I cannot believe this is an argument we're having in the mid 2026. They truly are the worst of humanity. It's like, how do you not see anything wrong with this in any way, shape, or form, my guy? So yeah, I've had enough. This is fucking weird, and I'm really looking forward to the Sam Candles and Chibi Reviews collab. I'm sure it's gonna go crazy.